Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. K. This is Module 2.1, the assignment of small group video discussion for school community and engagement. Now we will have introductions.
Hi, everyone. I am Casey Bethel. I am the principal of New Manchester High School in Douglasville, Georgia. I've been in education since 2005, having been a science teacher, department chair, and assistant principal before this role now.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrice Carter. I am the professional learning coach at Chickasaw Middle School in Memphis, Tennessee. I actually started my career in Georgia. I worked for Gwinnett County Public Schools. I started back in 2006, actually, and I'm excited to meet you guys.
All right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Bass. I am at Bremen City Schools. I am the director of bands at Bremen Middle School and Bremen High School. I'm in my 16th year of education and now progressing and moving forward to possibly moving to the admin position.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I am Jessica Bowden. I teach at LaGrange High School and I teach agriculture education, and I have been teaching for 16 years.
Good afternoon. I'm Josephine Butler, the counselor in Clayton County Public School, elementary school, home of the Bears. And I'm also the site facilitator for after-school enrichment programs and summer enrichment programs. And we are very excited to be here this afternoon. Take it away, Casey.
All right. I think one of the opening questions we had to answer was which data point from the Kids Count book resonated with us strongly. And I have at least two, but I'm going to open us up with one that's really broad, really overarching. I was interested and intrigued to read about the trends in the number of students who have been diagnosed with either anxiety or depression. And in fact, the book gives us data that shows, I think it started recording in 2016. And it shows the changes from 2016 to 2020. And that's on my mind a lot, because right now in education in my building and some of the other educators I talk with, we talk about how the recent pandemic has affected students' social and emotional health. But that statistic, when I saw it in this book, just reminded me that there was some concerning trends about student anxiety and depression even before the pandemic. Certainly the pandemic may have accelerated it, but that this has been kind of happening before then. And I'm always looking for how that translates into their behavior in the hallways and in classrooms and in their learning. So that's what stuck out to me. That's one of the things that stood out to me.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think just, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I think for me, I actually, with the time, because it focused on 2020, to be honest, you guys, I actually saw myself as a student, to be honest with you. I was actually in my last year, like I said, so that kind of resonated with me with West Georgia, and I just lost it, to be honest with you. And just to be that person in my family, leading the family, had her daughter, 2020, graduate of 2020. That she missed everything. And then, later on, a year after the pandemic, realizing that, I was affected, my daughter was affected, and, and I was right there in the house with her. Like, she was a senior, and we really didn't discuss it, because I thought because she had me there, she was good. But like I said, to be honest, we had that silent, anxiety and depression. She actually would come back and forth, from Atlanta to Memphis, and we had to change her whole room around. And like I said, I had to kind of put myself on the back burner to focus on her, because here I am, I'm thinking I got this together because I'm an educator. I'm gonna make sure she's good. And to be honest, we both, I think, was like emotional wreck. So this, for me, resonated with me on all aspects, for myself, and also my child, and even the students that I work with. So
Great. Thank you, Patrice.
For me, I'll go ahead and go, and I'll make mine quick. Is one thing that resonated with me is I love data, and I like to look at charts and see things. And so for me, one of the first things was that the rate of the child and teen deaths per 1,000 students had gone up 2% since, and I think the article said that even that's the highest it's been since 2008. But then even more, the key indicators that it had given us was, it said that, 28% was the national age average, but then it broke it down by race. And 49% was African American, and 31 was American Indian, 14 was Asian, Latino was 24, white was 25, and then the two or more ages or genders or races was 16. But that 49% just blew my mind for African American students, because I know in LaGrange we've had a lot of student shootings. Just in this year, I think we've had probably 5 in our community. We've had 2 students killed that actually attended my school. So I think a lot of that has to do with, I hate blaming things on COVID, but they've had a lot of time at home. They have had access, in the article, it even said something about access to guns. And just another thing is, even in Mr. K's district, there was a student that committed suicide just this year. And so I think suicides are on a rise. Teen on teen violence is on a rise. And I was just kind of surprised to see this. I'd be interested to see what the data reflects in 2023, because I think all this stopped in 2020. So just me, that resonated with me. And then the other thing was the childhood obesity. But I think the teen deaths was more on my mind.
Thank you.
I'm going to piggyback on both of those topics that we've had so far. Starting off with Casey and Patrice. The pandemic is definitely affected us. It's affecting me still as of right now. Honestly, I'm going through a rough time. I'm trying to purchase a home, and the housing market and how much expensive it is now to do all these things. It's a burden on myself, and I am a single person myself. And so you can only imagine how much it's affecting parents and people who are trying to raise children. And so again, like I'll be honest, like I've had some housing issues, and it's affecting me as of like even right now. So the pandemic is still affecting our children, and still as educators, and how we deal with our students and how we deal with our personal life in the change of the pandemic. And then I want to piggyback off of Jessica. One of the indicators that blew my mind, as in economic well-being, right now in the African American race, it says that 41% children have parents who lack secure employment. I mean, 41%. That's almost half of the population don't know when they're going to eat, how they're going to eat, how they're going to keep the lights on, how they're going to be able to provide a healthy lifestyle for themselves, let alone their children. So I thought that was very alarming to see that. And it goes up in the American Indian. And I mean, still, when you look at Latinos, 31%, even white, 21%, that's a alarming rate that people that parents don't know when their next check is going to come in or how it's going to come in, and that has to flow through the house and affect the children as well.
Mine is kind of a combination of the majority of the things that you guys mentioned, but more so just to as the health indicators, for a quarter of the parents that didn't have support as it pertains to raising their children, that emotional support, not having family or someone to depend on, was quite unusual for me, coming from a moderately large family. But I know that the majority of our concerns when it pertains to our parents is always the cognitive or the language, but not having someone in your family of a close proximity for additional support to help you during these trying times was just unspeakable for me. But I see it. It just was unreal for me. So I see a lot of things in our school as it pertains to the children not having that emotional support. And of course, we're going to discuss that more with the questions that we have to follow. The question 2.
All right, you want me to, I don't mind reading it.
Yes.
So the second question was, how can school leaders impact or influence that data? So I'm assuming we just looked at it based off of our stuff, but one of the things that was major in that article was just how we just need to make sure that we're prioritizing meeting the kids' basic needs. And, you know, it talks about just giving them a solid foundation of nutritious foods and safe neighborhoods and stable housing. But I looked at it on with if I look at it from the death standpoint, and I looked at just bringing in awareness programs, because, you know, I think if we involve our counselors and have some programs in the schools, that can impact it and influence it.
I want to totally, I want to absolutely agree with Jessica there. Remember, my opening statement was about the number of students who were diagnosed with either anxiety or depression. And I immediately, especially functioning as a high school principal, started to think about what things we can do early in terms of early identification, if not early intervention. And I'm proud of my school and my school system. We have our students 3 times throughout the year take a survey called an anonymous